Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our Swift programming series, and in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at operator overloading in Swift. Now in this video it's simply an introduction to the topic, and we're gonna overload one operator today. But I'm going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts of operator overloading, as well as when you should or should not overload an operator. That way you can get a better understanding of why you should do it, when you should do it, when you shouldn't do it, and why you should. As well as a basic understanding of how you do it. Now, of course, this topic doesn't just apply to overloading operators. You can create your own operators as well, but I urge caution with that. Generally speaking, it's also encouraged to do that with caution. Only do it when necessary. So let's get into exactly what operator overloading is. Well, the concept of operator overloading allows you to it essentially allows you to define new functionality for a built-in operator, such as the plus, minus, multiply, divide, modulus, whatever operators in Swift. To do something that is semantically consistent with the operator's functionality, what you would expect it to do with a specific type. Now, there are many already existing overloads of these operators. For example, with the plus operator, it is overloaded to allow you to combine two arrays together. In this particular video, what we're going to do is we are going to overload the plus operator to combine two sets together. Hence why I have a set extension set up here in my Xcode. Right? But before we get into the actual code, I want to talk about some of the do's and don'ts. So, why would you want to do operator overloading? Well, for one, it can make your code look more natural. It can, it can make it easier to understand, easier to read. A good example of this is, again, with collections like arrays or sets. When you see two sets or two arrays being added together, you'll know, oh, okay, that's combining those two that's combining the collections on both sides of the operator, stuff like that. But you don't want to do it in simple cases where the readability of your code might not have any sort of benefit, in which case in which case you might want to consider just doing a function or a method instead. Those are just, those are only two, that's only one do and one don't. There are many others, but again, this is an introduction to the topic. If you want a more in-depth look at operator overloading and its do's and don'ts and stuff like that, you can go to the Swift website, swift.org, and take a look at the documentation on the subject. There it'll give you a general idea. It'll give you a better picture, I should say, of operator overloading and when you should or shouldn't use it. Of course, the when and when not to use it goes along with those do's and don'ts. You should do it if it makes your code more readable, and stuff like that in a significant way, but you shouldn't do it if it doesn't improve the readability in any significant way. You shouldn't. You should not have an operator do something that is not semantically consistent with what the operator is supposed to represent. So, for example, if you overload the minus operator and combine two things together, you shouldn't do that. That's not semantically consistent with the minus operator. Okay. So now that we've kind of discussed some of the do's, the don'ts, when and when not to use the operator overloading, let's actually get into the code. I want to show you how exactly this works in practice. We're going to, on the spot, I've decided we're actually going to overload two operators. We're going to override plus and plus equals. Right? So what we're going to do is... actually, no, we're not going to override plus equals. I was thinking in my head we were, but we're not, because plus equals, with what I was thinking, it wouldn't technically be semantically consistent. So let's not do that. Okay, let's go ahead and go into Xcode. We're gonna overload our plus operator, so you can kind of get an idea of how this works, and then we'll be done, right? But after we code this, I'm gonna go through it with you, obviously. So inside of our extension for set, we're going to say static func. So this has to be static, otherwise it's not going to be accessible globally. And then the name of the function is going to be the operator, so plus in this case. And then we're going to have open and closing parenthesis. In here, we're going to take in two parameters. We're going to take in an LHS, or left-hand side, and an RHS for the right-hand side, of which the type is going to be set with element, with a capital E element in the angle brackets. So LHS colon set element RHS set element. All right. Then this is going to return a new set. With element like that. All right, there we go. So this is our function. It's a static function, static method for plus, and we're taking into sets for the left and right hand side of the operator. Now, if you recall from our video on sets, we combine sets using union. So let's go ahead and return LHS dot union RHS. All right, and there we go. Go ahead and save that code. Let's build our code to make sure that it builds. It does build. Perfect. Let's go back into our main file. All right. I'm going to import foundation. Okay. Then let's create a couple sets. So we'll say var a. This is going to be a set of integers equals. We'll say 1, comma 1, comma 2, comma 2, comma 3, comma 3, comma 3. And then we can say var b, which is also going to be a set of integers, equals 5, comma 5, 6, comma 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, comma 9, 9, 9, 9, 10. All right, there we go. So we got some sets. If we now say let C equals A plus B, save this, we don't get any errors. Now, initially, before we overloaded our operator, we would get an error because there isn't an existing operator overload for sets. So we just added that in ourselves, and because we did, it no longer gives us an error. All right, so let's go ahead then and print C. Let's print that set. Now, let's go ahead and run our code. Let's go into our console here. And you can see our set is printed. It's not in order because, of course, sets are not an ordered collection. But we get all of our numbers from 1 to 10. All right. So we were successfully able to combine our sets together into a single set. If we go back to our extension, let's go back over our method here. Let's go back over what we have here. So we have an extension on the set class, and we've created a static method for overloading the plus operator, because in Swift, operators are simply methods. They're just methods. Hence why you can pass in just an operator to the reduce function on arrays. In this static function for overloading the plus operator, we pass it two parameters, one for the left-hand side of the operator, and one for the right-hand side of the operator. Then we are returning a new set. And in the body of our operator function, we are returning the results of LHS.union, which is the method used to combine two sets together. So that's pretty much how this works. We'll talk when we get into generics. We'll talk about what element is exactly in depth. But all you need to know is that element, in this case, in between the angle brackets, just represents the type that you specify when you create a set object. Right? So a set of integers. The element will be int. Stuff like that. Okay, so that pretty much does it for this video on operator overloading and allowing you to get a basic introduction to the topic. Again, if you want to go deeper into operator overloading and creating your own operators, I recommend going to the swift.org site and reading the documentation there on operator overloading, so that way you have a little bit more of a bigger picture on the topic. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.